to another edition of the Friday video game news analysis. I still don't have a name for it. Yeah, what up? Today is Friday, October 26th, 2018. And as always on Fridays, I am going to rattle off a few pieces of news information. Still working on the format of this, but so if you have any comments, feel free to put them below. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. So obviously, we're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, which dropped last night at 9 p.m. for most people or wherever you were across the world. And I managed to get home at that time and download the massive game and play a little bit last night. Not very much, only about 90 minutes, but enough. Yeah, some. I ascertained some information of that, and I soaked in some information. I read a lot of the reviews over the past couple days, and so far it's starting off really well with a 97 Metacritic. Everyone's giving it 10s across the boards except for a few people. I did see, however, a 7.9 user score though, so there is a little bit of disparity. Everybody agrees that it is a very good game. But there is a little bit of disparity between like reviewers giving it a 10 out of 10 and the rest of the consumers giving it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a little slow, but I'm only 90 minutes in, so hopefully things will pick up fairly soon. One of the things that was kind of sold was there'd be a lot of weight in each of my choices, and I started thinking about that doesn't really, like, you don't really feel that in the moment. You only know that your playthrough is different from someone else's until you talk about it. So hopefully you have a group of people where you can talk about different experiences you had in the game, create those really cool water cooler moments that people talk about. But yeah, just something I realized when like games promise that it'll be deeply immersive and every decision matters. You don't feel that at the time, so something that I'm struggling with. Another thing that I'm struggling with is that none of the characters really mean much to me since I didn't play the first one, and they're kind of rushed through the introductions. But hopefully my relationship with them will develop over time. I have a whole bunch of starter guides on how to play the game. But overall, I think it is going to be a good game. It should be awesome. It's worth picking up. It's what everyone's going to be talking about for the next couple weeks, so feel free to be prepared for that. Yeah, there's a couple videos, a couple guides that I'll probably put links to down below, talking about the best way to fish and the best guns and best way to earn money. Yeah, I'll put a link to all of those down below. How the companion app works, that should be interesting. But overall, yeah. So everyone's giving it a 10 out of 10, except for the users who are giving it 8 out of 10, or at least all the critics are giving it 10s. Users are giving it about an 8. I'm not far enough into it to give it a score yet, so feel free to work through it with me as I play through. Ask me how I'm doing with it because I think it's going to be good. I'm not going to regret my purchase, but I do have my qualms with it. A few things are a little bit overwhelming and underwhelming. And moving on, so everyone's going to be talking about Red Dead Redemption 2, but there is other things that are happening in the news this week. Destiny 2 is finally fixing the exotic drop rate. I've probably put about 300 hours or so, oh god, maybe more, into Destiny 2 since Forsaken launched. Maybe not that much. Maybe that's a little bit of an overstatement. But I put maybe 100 hours in, and I think I've seen 2 exotic drops out of the countless number of purple engrams I've got. So whatever the exotic drop rate is, it has been flawed. People have been talking about it for a while. Now, I don't want to be on the other side of it where I want to complain so much that they just hand it to me for free and everything's free and there's no challenge in the game. It should be a grind, but there's a fine line between like grind and never that I just, I think people are starting to feel graded on. So yeah, so Destiny 2 is finally fixing the exotic drop rate, so that should be cool. I saw. Apparently, I'm gonna have one of these every week. I saw a really cool Gamasutra article. I don't have the author in front of me, Alex something, um, about how to approach video game difficulty. And that's something I noticed in Red Dead is I wasn't given an option, but I was given an option in Assassin's Creed, and I cranked it up to the highest difficulty. And now, anytime there's like one level disparity between me and the enemy in Assassin's Creed, I die instantly, and that doesn't feel good. And that turns something into a grind, having to repeat things. And if I was given, you never want to put the problem could be on me, but the problem could also be on how the game handles difficulty. If they just make the enemies hit twice as hard, and my health is only so limited, then that could be a problem. So, and typically, a game developer doesn't want to put the responsibility on the player. The optimal solution would be somehow figuring out how difficult the game should be, and then adjusting that. And the article actually talked about how like auto adjusting difficulty or games. They had a term for games adjusting difficulty. I don't remember what the term was. And sometimes that can feel patronizing because like maybe you just got in a random string of bad kills and now the game's like super easy and on cuddle bear mode. And that can be frustrating too. Or you could be doing that on purpose. You could die 3 times in quick succession, and then the game's on super easy mode, and then you just crush it because you're actually really good at the game, which they brought up in the article. So, yeah, the article actually went on to say that, like, maybe the decision point is wrong. Maybe you don't choose the difficulty right at the beginning of the game. Maybe you choose it somewhere else. Maybe you choose it halfway through the game. You don't want it to feel like a too long tutorial. But yeah, a lot of good thoughts and were expressed in handling video game difficulty. And I know I've had conversations with people about how games handle difficulty, so I just thought this was a really cool article to bring up. Next, Alan Wake is finally coming back. It's going to be sold digitally. I don't remember if it's just on Xbox or if it'll be on. Oh no, it says it's on Steam. So Alan Wake will be sold soon. And that's cool because Alan Wake's been kind of kept on ice for a while. It came out originally on the 360, and then nothing's happened since. And I think it went into like the Disney Vault or however that works. But yeah, that should be sold digitally soon on Steam for anybody who wants to own Alan Wake but didn't buy it on the 360. So I probably will pick it up so I own it forever on Steam, like because my Steam library is just a vault of games that I'll have forever. Next is trailers. Going on to trailers. So, Call of Cthulhu. It's something I've played the tabletop RTS. I played the tabletop RPG, and Cthulhu is coming out next week, and so there's a launch trailer for it. It looks creepy. I like the art style a little bit, very much. Kind of reminds me of like the Dead by Daylight art style. So it's a little bit on the cartoony side, but all the characters express emotions. It looks really cool. I wonder I always am curious with my psychology background. I'm always curious on how video games handle like mental health, mental strain. What does it look like when people are going crazy? How do they instill fear? And it'll be interesting to see how that game does. I like Focus Home Entertainment. Or Focus Interactive, I guess, since this is their video game division. Because I liked Vampire. They did a couple of the 40K games. So really looking forward to Call of Cthulhu. I'm not going to play it immediately. I don't even know if I'll play it this year. But I'm going to keep that on the back burner until I eventually buy it because I want to. Thronebreaker. I've been talking about this for weeks. It's a cool Witcher Gwent game, but I hear it plays more like Magic, or it's very strategic. It takes a very simple game that was Gwent and then turns it into something more narrative and also more gives it a little bit more depth. But the game is called Thronebreaker, and that comes out. I think that came out this week. In fact, it did come out this week because I saw a bunch of people streaming it. So, Thronebreaker is a game set in Witcher, and it's a magic-based or magic-like card game, not unlike the Gwent game that you played in Witcher 3. Next, the Spyro Trilogy launch trailer, looked awesome this week. I was never a big fan of the Spyro games, but because I didn't have a PlayStation as a kid. But this looks really cool. I know I can at least buy it for my fiance, who really likes those old school games. You know, in the same vein of like the Crash Bandicoots of the world. That game looks really cool. Yeah, the trailer the trailer even cuts in and cuts out between the old games and the new games, and how just vastly and how much they scrubbed to make it look so good. It just looks so good. I would buy, I might even buy it just because it looks so good. Just visually, the graphics looks amazing. They really polished it up, made it look very, 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 very cool. Yeah. And last but not least, not a lot of deals. I usually end up with like deals or cool stuff, and this one was more of a cool stuff week. There is a Nerf gun from Fortnite. So Nerf and Fortnite are coming together to bring you a Nerf Fortnite gun. I believe it's just the basic auto rifle that you have in Fortnite, but they're putting it in. Nerf is making a physical copy, a giant yellow gun with an orange nozzle. It says Fortnite on the side. So really trying to grab those 12-year-olds, get them to buy their Fortnite guns so they can run around outside and shoot each other with Nerf bullets. Should be cool. I don't know. Fortnite's going to be on everything for the next several months. So feel free to, whenever you see a Fortnite something or other, just take a picture of it, because it's just so funny how everybody is getting on the Fortnite train. Yeah, they had what was it? There was the Fortnite Monopoly. I don't even know if there's enough locations in Fortnite to have a Monopoly version, because there's, how many different properties in Monopoly are there? Anyway, getting off track. Fortnite's everywhere. It's now on Nerf guns. Feel free to check that out. The link to that will be in the description below. But yeah, hopefully that was a little bit quicker than I normally am. I didn't quite highlight what I would like to, I didn't circle each individual story like I should have, pick ahead of time. But that's all on me. I don't know why I'm putting this in at the end of this video, but if you're watching this on Friday, I really appreciate you stopping by my Twitch stream and seeing this. If you're watching this on Saturday, you're probably on my YouTube, and I appreciate you stopping by and putting any comments towards what you think I missed. Any questions, comments, concerns you have about the video game news, feel free to post them below. I appreciate you being here, and thanks for watching. Bye!